This will probably be the concluding video of my development of the motorcycle tire changer. I've spent a considerable amount of time deciding what the limits of the changer were, how to modify it to make those limits continue to grow. Successful in the previous video of putting a V5.0 Dunlop tire on a Harley Davidson motorcycle. That was my ultimate goal. Then was now to see where the limits were and what I could do to improve upon that. What I did was I had the Jeep Wrangler from one of my sons. I pulled the tires off of the wheels that he had on there, some aluminum wheels. I think they were 30-inch tires, maybe 31-inch tires, something like that. Pulled them off. Changer went up reasonably well. I put those same tires onto some steel wheels that I'm putting on my 80 Blazer. So from there, decided we're still going good. I can see some changes I wanted to make to maybe the clamp system, maybe the support axle of the machine. But then I said I'm going to take it one step further. I had this tire right here. These are a 35-inch tire, 12.5 inches wide. And took that tire, pulled them off the 4 wheels that they were on. And when I did that, that really showed up where I needed to make some improvements. What I did is I went from this wide base here, 3 clamp system, to behind me here this 4 clamp system. Because I was seeing a lot of turning of the wheel in the clamp, and then as I used it, it did 2 things for me. First, I bent my axle here of the machine, took off a little nice tilt to it, so I built this framework for it. And the frame, it tilts and gets out of the way. It's pinned here with a 1/2-inch pin. In fact, that's one of the other things, one of the criteria was you had to change a motorcycle tire without any damage to the wheel. And it had to be easily storable. I wasn't going to sacrifice 25-30 square foot of valuable floor shop space for a machine that I only use a couple times a year. So this is attached to my welding table, and it comes completely away from it. It comes away in parts. I can easily pick up the parts, hang them on my shelf. It's out of the way, out of mind. So we bent the axle, put this on here. I'm putting this on here. I'm having trouble locking in the wheel. So I keep cranking down on the 3 clamps I had there, and eventually turning the duck head around the tire, around the wheel. I snapped off one of these mounts here, completely off, the ABS plastic mount here. So that stopped that. I got into about 1.5 tires. I had one tire off a wheel, and I was on the second one, got the first bead off, was working on the second bead, and that's when that one snapped. And that's when I decided it was time to change and start working on that, the change to it all. I'll focus this in a little closer on this thing here. Okay, so I've got 4 clamps. They're pretty much the same. In fact, everything you see here that's not painted has been modified for this machine. And if you look at it closely, you don't see anything that's on here that's not been changed. It does have the duck head. That's a separate unit that fits on here. And I'll show you that when I mount the wheel on here and get the tire on here. I'll show you how that fits on here. But even that's been changed as well. There's nothing I left undone. In fact, I even tried 2 different duck heads to see if they were any better than the red one that I was using. And I kept coming away with the same conclusion. Red was better. Black did not work quite as well. The bad part of these is they use a slightly different hole arrangement than the red one did, so I got a chance to make 2 new mounts for each one. Or 1 for each one, I should say. Okay, I'll stop now, put things together, and then I'll start again. Okay, we got the tire lubed up, the wheels clamped in, my little steppy stool here so I can get on top of this big guy here. If this was a motorcycle tire or automotive tire, I'd be able to just put it on the wheel here, push it down and give it a spin, and it would go on. But this big boy, kind of doubtful. It's right on the edge. In fact, it's so close. Nah, I think I'll be just wasting my time. So if I can assemble a machine here, and we can begin. Top rod just comes down. There we go. That's just a holder, keep it in place. And this guy comes down. Here's our red duck head and its holder. One of the things I learned was make sure you pin that guy so it doesn't come flying out when you don't want it to. One of the other things is this guy here busted my little stick that I was using to keep the bead down on the wheel. So I went and made a chunk of aluminum here as its replacement. So right now, one more change. This is my bar that slips into this machine. It was 30 inches long and I made it now 42 inches. I needed the extra leverage. So, I should be able to lock this guy up a little bit higher so he's out of the way of the I'm going to find my tool here. Here we go. I used to use a round bar here to post to support the duck head. I've since gone to just a square tube inside another square tube. I like that a lot better. There's not a lot of flex there anymore. This is probably not quite the right way to do this, but it seems to work well on this first bead. And that is just to put the duck head on there and give it a shove. If that doesn't come off, it will go in. There we go. First bead on. Not a big deal. Now the second one, it shouldn't require any other tools either. What we're doing here is we're shoving the trailing edge of the duck head, we're getting the bead of the tire down there, and the leading edge up over the other side. And it's just a matter of getting it angled properly and walking that duck head around the tire. You might use this little device here to keep that bead in place. And that should be about it, I think. There we go. There we go. Nothing broken, tires on. Okay. Next step, we'll use that aluminum stick I was telling you about. And we'll use a tool here to pick up the bead. Well, first, best bet is to make sure this side of the tire stays down in the drop center of the wheel. And that's why we put that clamp in over there. We take our tool here and bring it up. And the aluminum one here, that's just to keep the tire from walking back down. If I had 3 hands, I wouldn't need the little aluminum piece. Let me get out of the way here. So now I should be able just to rotate that duck head. Right around the machine. And it should pop right loose here. There we go. First bead is off. I'll get this guy out of the way. First bead is loose. Now the second bead is just a little more difficult, and I think it's because the weight of the tire, it's harder to get to see that bead. You gotta get the tire up into the drop center, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do is get a little pressure off this clamp, pull the pin from there, and I have a little lift mechanism. This is my support for it. It says top. So this goes in here, not that far. Pick up that hole, tighten this guy down. I take this off because I don't want to ram any body parts against this metal if I don't have to. Now this one's, like I say, is the more difficult one. What I'm going to put on here is a little T-lift. It slips in here. And what it is a 3/4 inch rod going into a pipe. A washer on here, there's a slight angle on the pipe. The spring holds down that washer, you pull it up, and just wedges it in place, locks it in place. Similar to a wood clamp. So, pick this tire up. Get him underneath. Pull that tire up into the drop center. Yeah, maybe a little higher. There we go. Now, everything being good, that should keep that guy up there. I should be able to come over here, pull it up. And just reaching down underneath here, grab that lower bead and hold it up. Come on, boy. This is the one that snapped my little wooden stick. So I'm somewhat cautious of it. I'll beat him in this way here. Like I said, you gotta do it that way. Same thing, I'm just shoving it between the wheel rim and the tire. Pulling them over a little bit. Okay, and now just move the duck head counterclockwise to the wheel. You should come off. Oh yeah. My bead wants to kind of slide back down. So I'm going to pull out the big tool, put them over there. See if I can do this with just two hands. Yes, sir. That one's off the wheel. Pull that guy out. And we have to, well, built this machine, it has to get disassembled to some degree to get everything off. That's just a safety pin, because first time I tried that just about took my head off. Now if I can get it off now, that'd be great. Fine, we will. I can get rid of it. So that guy just removes. It comes over here with this up here. He's in there. Pull up the axle. Oh boys. And we're done. One tire on, one tire off. I follow the video with a series of stills showing the various components of the machine, and then some crude or rough sketches showing dimensions of those components so you can build it yourself. I forgot one piece, and that was this axle here. This is a piece of 3/4 inch cold rolled steel, not hot, cold rolled steel. It's 39 inches long. There you go. Everything you need to know to build your own changer. Learn how to cut and weld steel, dump the flip-flops, buy an honest pair of work boots. It's liberating. Don't buy that crap from Harbor Freight, that German toy called the Max 2H, or that Nomar boat anchor. Do it yourself and you'll get a better machine. Thank you.